Welcome to the It's Beyond Me podcast. I'm your host, Freddie T.
And your co-host, Drift Nasty.
And today we're going to talk about
A pretty messed up topic about the way that they are shoving the transgender agenda down our children's throats nowadays. More or less to say, they're claiming that there's 72 different sexes, different genders, and they're wanting to teach first graders, your 6 and 7 year olds, that there's 72 different genders out there.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I was growing up, I never heard about no 72 different genders. But I guess, in this new world that we're in where everything is a new gender in its own, we'll find out. Personally, we don't have enough time to go through all 72, so we kind of chose the closest ones we knew.
The most ridiculous.
The most ridiculous ones, like the agender, which is a person who doesn't identify with any gender. So if you don't identify, why the hell are you even classified?
You pretty much don't exist.
Exactly. And then you got an arogender, where the gender changes according to the surroundings.
Because that makes sense.
I have no clue. I think they called that one confused. And then we got burst gender. Frequent bursts of intense gender feelings. Like...
What the fuck? What the fuck is that? Like, you have random feelings of, oh, well, I feel like a girl, and then in 5 minutes you feel like, oh, I'm a boy. That is confusion. Every 5 minutes you don't know what it is that you are.
And then you have gender fuzz, which is more than one gender is blurred together. How many genders do we apparently have? Because I don't know how you can blur multiple genders together.
Yeah, and I don't care how they try to paint this picture on this gender situation. The point is that it doesn't matter your stance on it. If you're a woman who feels like you're a man, or a man who feels like you're a woman, however you want to try to dress those kinds of feelings, you're always talking about how many genders in that conversation. 2. You're either a man or a woman, or feel like a man or a woman. So how they have decided that there's 72 genders, and that your first graders need to understand that there's 72 genders is beyond me.
I'm just a little confused. We got LGBTQ plus 72 now?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That doesn't make sense.
They have me confused now. This is getting ridiculous. We need to come to a common ground over here, because at this rate, I guess I am an...
Oh no!
I'm a gender that's about to be extinct at the rate they're going.
They have a term for us too. It's called cisgendered, and basically that's the closest thing of saying that you feel like what you were born as. You closely identify with what's on your birth certificate.
Oh, so we're about to be extinct. That's what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah, we're on the bottom of the list.
Okay.
We're number 72. We're working our way out the door.
So I went from having some type of gender to I'm almost out of there.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Damn, they should give me some type of reward for that. I mean, I'm like
you're the last of a dying breed.
Hell yeah, they're gonna have me in a museum soon, man. It's a harsh world out there.
And this conversation is pretty dumb. Like, it all comes down to people putting other people in their business, so to say. Because the conversation about, oh, well, I'm gay or I'm straight, you're pretty much having a conversation about who you prefer to sleep with. Things that you do behind closed doors, that's nobody else's business. And then you wonder why everybody is in your business is because you constantly wear it on your sleeve and want to put people in your business. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. But I do care about you shoving it down the throats of children and trying to tell them that they need to be confused for all their life. A kid don't need to be worried about nothing except for going outside and playing, having food in their stomach and clothes on their back. They don't need to be worried about no 72, 70, 10, none of that. They don't need to be worried about people being involved with anything that has to do with sex, honestly. Damn sure not in no first grade. I personally, I want to say it was 6th grade that they did sex ed at my school. And me looking back on it now, I feel like 6th grade is too young to be exposing a kid to that, much less 1st grade. 8th grade, I could have understood because you're about to go into high school. You're about to be a teenager and you're about to have hormones and you're going to be, you're starting to be little nasty fuckers. I don't know how else to say that.
I don't know. We learned it like at the end. I went to school in Africa, so we learned it probably towards the end of 7th grade, and it was okay. That's an okay time because you're already confused anyway. I understand that part, but I don't know about no third, fourth, fifth grader.
They don't understand what sex is.
I didn't even know what sex was at that age. I was just worried about going outside and playing.
Exactly.
Hell, I thought if a girl kissed my hand, I caught the cooties and would get sick and probably my hand would burn off or something. I didn't know. But, back then we were innocent.
Yeah, I mean, boys aren't worried
about
girls.
I just feel like these days we try and push a grown agenda on little kids, from race situations down to sexual and gender, and it's just every little thing we're trying to sell it to kids. I mean, we've got families taking their kids to drag shows. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's adult stuff. There's no reason why you're taking a little kid to those things unless you get some kind of perverse pleasure out of watching them being like, oh my God. Because truly, it doesn't make sense.
Exposing a kid to sexual things is sexual abuse. I don't care how you want to fucking dress it up or say it, that's what it is. If a dad, I won't use profanity, but just to paint this picture, if a dad or a mom touches their own kid in an inappropriate manner, then they're labeled a sexual predator. Now, if a mom or a dad takes their child to a drag show to expose them to men or women, however this goes, and exposing their bodies and talking sexually to the crowds, I feel like it's the same thing. You're exposing them to a sexual situation, and that would make you a sexual predator as a parent. That would make the people, because the guy, the thing he's talking about, the guy on stage showed his whole butt. He had fake titties on, telling a kid, oh, well, you want some milk? Oh, well, the milk is bad in this, you don't want it. He's a sexual predator. That's how they should be labeled. That's how this should be treated.
Because technically, to me, you've got indecent exposure being done. You've got voyeurism that's being done by half of these people. And then, in my eyes, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is, technically, by the new definitions that are out there, if I wake up today and decide to wear a dress, all of a sudden, I'm considered a female. And in some places, I can go into the same bathroom as them, which doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it's okay by these days. But to each his own. I have no problem with what people choose. This is what I choose, which is not to do that. But, everybody has their own thing. Whatever tickles your pickle, it is what it is.
Right. That's your business as a grown adult. But for children, that's not the case. You should not be involving children in any of your crap. And all this, I want my son to be a girl if he wants to. I want my daughter to be a boy if she wants to. And then y'all are having gender reassignment done to your child.
Before they're even 11 years old.
Before they understand what they want in life, what they're going to do. Before they understand sex. Before they even understand anything about a gender. Seriously? No.
And my only problem with it is, I have never had a problem with anybody's choice of gender or sexuality or who they choose to be with. My biggest problem is when you shove it down other people's throats, and then if a person says that's not what they roll with,
all of a sudden they're homophobic. Which phobic comes from the word phobia, which means you're afraid of them. Are you afraid of gay people?
No.
I have a gay cousin and I love him to death.
Me too.
When I'm around him, I give him a hug. I don't stand 6 feet. I'm not afraid of catching the gay. None of that.
I got gay cousins. I got gay friends. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, like I tell them, I don't care what you do. Do what you do. That's on you. Whatever your preference is, that's your preference in the bedroom. It's nobody else's real business at the end of the day. I'm not saying you can't be with your partner and show each other affection in front of people. That's okay. That's on y'all.
That's your business.
But at the end of the day, I just hate the fact that these days, if I say, yo, I don't, that's not my cup of tea, all of a sudden,
you're a bad guy.
You're a bad guy. You cannot speak your truth these days without getting some type of backlash from other people. And I don't understand that, because at the end of the day, I thought we were in America last time I checked. And I thought,
freedom of speech was once a thing. It's slowly getting stomped out, and everybody needs to start thinking about that. While y'all are sitting back and then saying, oh, well, these things are politically correct and this and that, you want to be PC all the time, you want to hold your tongue, then you're contributing to the problem of there not being a freedom of speech. Because honestly, that's what this is. That this is a government agenda right here to reverse roles, probably depopulation. Because let's face it, two men and 2 women can't have a child.
I just know that right now they're talking about artificial wombs, and at the end of the day, they argument for doing those is they're saying that not enough people are having kids. Now, not enough people are having kids. Why are we pushing all these other agendas? At the end of the day, why aren't we trying to just let people be people and let them find their own way?
In time. Which a child cannot do. That child needs to grow up, live life, and then decide when they're grown and old enough to make grown decisions what they want to do. Y'all are messing up the process before they even have a chance. All that dismembering babies and stuff like that, that's what I call it. You want to dismember babies, cut off their things, add things that weren't there before. That's child mutilation. Body mutilation to babies.
It just doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, I feel like, I understand, everybody has their choices. And I understand that a person should have a choice. I'm not saying they shouldn't, of what gender they want to be. But then my other problem with that is like, okay, if you're genetically, and I'm talking about you still have every body part, I feel you should not be allowed to be in a unisex bathroom, just because at the end of the day, there are some people who abuse the situation. Like any other thing in the world, there's always going to be that one bad apple that's going to abuse it. There's always going to be that one person who's going to go over there and do something foul in the bathroom because he feels that, hey, he's allowed to. Now, my thing is, people are running around flashing themselves after they're being let to be in the same bathroom as a female. They're going over there. It's like, my problem with the whole situation is I look at it and I say, you're cheapening the value of a person's gender.
Yep.
Before, we were fighting for, everybody was saying, people were fighting for same-sex marriage, same-sex relationships. I feel you. Hell, people fought for the type of relationship me and her have. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's still a battle. But I put it like this: after everybody got their rights, why is it now we're impeding on the rights of other people to express what they feel or to express their beliefs?
Yeah.
Because we say that if they express them, then they showing hate.
And we don't all have to agree. You don't have to like what I say. I don't have to like what you say. But we're allowed to have opinions.
We got people who choose to buy a ticket to go to a comedy show, then going and turning around and complaining that, oh, the comedian made a joke about trans people, oh, he's phobic. Well, you kind of had a choice to listen to it. You knew what type of material he was going to throw out there. Most of these guys are shock jocks, which means shock is what they're trying to get out of you. So at the end of the day, they're going to bring up every topic known to man, whether you like it or not. And at the end of the day, you're going to be grown. If you don't like it, the door's right there. But everybody wants to sit there and call people transphobic and get them canceled and all this other stuff. Why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all just appreciate another person's point of view? It used to be not everybody had to agree.
Yeah.
We used to agree to disagree.
And it still should be a thing. It doesn't, when we're talking about this, or like earlier you mentioned racism, at the end of the day, like, okay, yeah, in a perfect world, racism wouldn't exist. But to be totally honest, it's nothing but an opinion. If somebody's opinion is that they don't like a race of people, that's their opinion. Even though I don't agree with it, you don't agree with it, that's their right to have an opinion. That's all I'm saying. And if we don't like things going on, especially having to do with these kids, that's our opinion. That don't make us bad people.
No. I just feel like, people need to, this whole PC thing, we first started off with no people left behind. We understood that. Then we went through everybody gets an award. We understood that. Now it's this whole situation. I just kind of feel like everybody is accepting mediocrity because that's the new thing. It's okay to be mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks because at the end of the day, you know what? There's no such thing as people actually doing things for the pride of they like their job or they like what they're doing or they like the sport they play or whatever. It's just we get what we get.
And it made people afraid of a challenge. They'd rather be handed things than to actually work for them to accomplish anything.
People just want to be given things. People just want people to accept things. People don't want to hear other people out. No, everybody just wants everybody to have this uniform type of mind frame. But you know what? Back in the day, it was cool to be different from everybody else. It was cool to be an individual. Now, people just want a drone.
Yeah.
Why? What's really going on, America? You tell me. At the end of the day, I look at it like this. My question to everybody, and I ask, if you have a question, if you want to add to this, please put it on the comments. I'm asking everybody, do you feel that they are spoon feeding or shoving this agenda of trans, of same sex or whatever on the young kids? Do you think it's right? If you do, please comment. If you don't, please comment. It'll be nice to see what you guys have to say. Me personally, I feel they're starting too early and they're shoving it in their throats. I personally think in their teens, I would accept it. I would say, okay, maybe 15, 16, because their minds are almost there.
Yeah, and the thing about that, too, I mean, there is such a thing, a phase that kids go through when they're teens, preteens, mostly in high school, where they go through phases. They are not permanent moments in their life. They go through phases. And the thing about the phases from when I was a kid was that you had the chance to undo the phase. You could change your mind. Permanent things being done to kids who could, not gonna say are going to, but could very damn well change their mind down the line. That's not fair to the kids.
I don't know. I just feel that's what I wanted to get off my chest. I know it's been a long day for everybody, so at the end of the day, we're gonna just...
I think we pretty much covered it.
We're just gonna let it go tonight and say thank you very much for tuning in to our podcast. I hope y'all have a great week, and please come back and listen to some more.
Yeah, we're gonna try to post something else next week. Do you know about a day?
I haven't really chosen one yet. We're still a little new on this, so
yeah, but we definitely will be making something next
week.
It
will get better as time goes on.
And if anybody has any tips or suggestions for us, because this is pretty much our first video, second audio podcast that we've done whatsoever, then please feel free to let us know, message us, comment to us, let us know what we can do to better improve or anything along those lines.
All criticism is constructive criticism. We don't mind. Thank you, and good night.